This episode is sponsored by the winningest shell in the history of sporting clays and Task history, Game Bore Shot Shells. No other brand has won more world championships. White Gold and Dark Storm contain precision-made diamond shot that is graded 5 times for consistency and has high-performance smooth velocities, providing less felt recoil. You put in the work. Now load up with the best. Why trust anything else? Available throughout the U.S., exclusively from KL Ammo. Find them online at www.GameBoreUS.com. Game Bore are simply the champion's choice.
Hey, clay shooters, it's that time again.
These guys aren't just anybody. They're good.
It's time for the Dead Pair Podcast with Jason Rambo.
Does your brain hear what your mouth is saying?
And Sean Alley.
He's large and in charge.
Here to bring you all things sporting clays, from the ins and outs, tips and tricks, news and gossip from pro shooters, service and industry specialists, coaches, clubs, and more.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only...
Welcome, everyone, to the Dead Pair Podcast.
What do you think, Sean? You got your winter coat on?
Yeah, coming back from Texas, this was kind of a slap in the face.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Sean and I just got back from the Nationals. Wow, what an experience.
One word, overwhelming.
I was going to use the word wind.
Wind. We'll put wind in there, and then on top of that, overwhelming. Just a lot to see and do there.
Yeah, so we showed up on Tuesday. It was pouring down rain. Big cold front came through, and then we woke up Wednesday morning. We shot the Beretta Challenge, which was a super sporting, and then the K-Cup. And, oh, my gosh, I mean, that was the talk of the town. I mean, how much wind it was. There was a steady 30, blowing 45 at times.
That's what I heard, is like 30 to 45 mile an hour sustained, and then gusts that went higher than that. And we saw it out on the course, man. Some of those birds, as soon as they released from the thrower, they were gone. They were gone.
We got some cool interviews here for you guys, and I'll let them talk a little bit more about the stats. But one of the things that we're excited about was it not only the largest attended Nationals ever, it was also the largest for first-time attendees.
Right, and that was kind of cool. Definitely met a lot of people, a lot of fans came up to us, and that was really cool.
Wonderful people.
Appreciating the podcast and told us they listened and liked what we were doing, so that was very humbling. And also got to put names and faces with the rest of our sponsors and other people. I mean, again, it was a sun up to sundown pretty much every day, trying to get it all crammed in. But it was definitely a neat experience.
It was. I think our personal shooting suffered a lot because of it. But you know what? I wouldn't have traded it. I don't care if I would have won my class. I wouldn't have traded the experience for my score. I mean, we've talked about this before on these big shoots is all the personalities and meeting people and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to make excuses, but obviously our first day shooting, we tried to do the Beretta Challenge and the K-Cup in one day, and of course that was the day it was blowing 30 to 45 miles an hour. So it's like our first time out, we got kicked in the teeth because of the wind and stuff, and it was tough for everybody out there. There's no doubt, but finally got through Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday was actually halfway decent, not too bad weather-wise, and our scores improved over that. And also we put out the video for the Pro Challenge.
Top
Gun, sorry, not the Pro Challenge, Top Gun.
Yeah, that
we
was
did
cool.
Friday night, filmed that Friday night, got to see all those guys go head-to-head out there. It was pretty good experience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And, boy, these pro shooters are labeled pro shooters for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, just to see the best of the best stand on a stage and compete, it was awesome. But anyway, let's get to these interviews. And, of course, we've got to thank our sponsors real quick. And we'll be right back with some interviews. American-made Atlas traps are made right here in Kansas and feature the finest quality, innovation, and support in the business. Atlas traps are made using aircraft-quality aluminum and stainless steel to ensure your traps will outlast the competition.
So whether you're an individual needing a private trap for practice and recreation, or a club needing to outfit your entire facility, family-owned and operated Atlas Traps can suit all your needs.
Visit atlastraps.com to see the full line of commercial and recreational traps and accessories. With prices that won't make you see red and quality that won't leave you feeling blue, Atlas has the finest equipment available. Well, we are very fortunate to catch up with a very busy Michael Hampton Jr. Michael, welcome. Thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us.
Thank you guys for being here.
Big news, aside from the wind, largest event for attendees and largest event for first-time attendees. What do you contribute that to? I mean, it's awesome.
I believe there's people ready to get out after last year. We've also got a ton of new people getting involved in the sport due to the fact that sport's an outdoor sport. It's something they can do and not be cooped up in their house.
Right.
People that didn't get to travel are ready to travel. And we're just happy they all made it down to San Antonio this year for the Nationals.
And it's a sport the whole family can do, too.
That is for sure. We've got tons of ladies, tons of kids, husband and wives from all over. It's great.
So the big word of the Nationals is wind. There's absolutely nothing anybody can do about it. Just real quick, because I've heard this grumbled a few times, and I think it's kind of ludicrous, but there is a rule in the NSCA that the targets have got to be the same, but you can't control an act of God, right? What do you say to those people? Just that? You can't control that? Or is it something that if it's real extreme, you'll give the pair over? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, I will tell them that this is an outdoor sport. And with outdoor sports comes weather, comes Mother Nature.
Right.
It's like throwing a baseball. Hey, if it's raining out, it's a different grip than it is when it's sunny and hot out.
That's right.
And same thing with football. So this sport is no different. We do the best we can to throw the targets, to keep them at the degrees, at the angles, the speed that they have been, but there's only so much you can do. And the game is to simulate hunting. And, things change. Things will evolve, and one day from one flight in the morning flight to the last flight that same day could change. And like I said, we watch. Now, if there's something that's an extreme that we have to go out and adjust, we'll do that. We'll adjust that target to get it back as close as we can to what it originally was. But a lot of that, you just have to, it's the luck of the draw, luck of the flight, luck of the time.
Yeah. Well, and Jason and I, this being our first time here, we've obviously had to deal with the wind just like everybody else, and I think that's the one thing we take comfort in, and we've said it a couple times here. It's like, well, we're dealing with it, but again, everybody else is as well. And as first-time attendees, I mean, especially with an event this large, I mean, there's just so much going on, so much to do, and again, to touch on, the most amount of first-time shooters coming here, for those people that are thinking about giving the Nationals a shot next year, what kind of advice or suggestions can you give them to plan for or prepare for the next year tournament?
Yes, we're very lucky. This year we have over 400 first-time attendees. This is the most we've ever had. We do a lot of that to our gun clubs, getting new shooters involved and getting them to get the taste, getting excited about it. But when we come here, we do a lot about signage, a lot about notifications, text messaging. We have staff members everywhere to answer questions and direct people on what's going on. But when you come down here, we're on 700 acres. We're utilizing a lot of this property and that kind of stuff. And all the different courses and that, they're laid out, spread out. We tell the first timers when they come in here and be ready to have a good time. There's more to it than just the competition of shooting. There's all the other fun activities. We have drawings for lots of great prizes from all of our sponsors. We're very fortunate to have the sponsors. Also, the first timers be ready to do some shopping. We've got over 60 vendors here. We've got plenty of sponsors that have come and supporting us by giving stuff away. We do a tremendous amount of random drawings for guns, choke tubes, ammo, shooting pouches, anything and everything that our sponsors have. And not that, just Friday night, last night we had the Top Gun event. We had the top shooters in the stadium. We probably had 700 people around the stadium watching it. We had dinner last night. We had drinks and that. So, I mean, come to have a good time. We want you to come and shoot. We want you to come and compete, but it's more than just that. It's an event. It's you're going to see people that have the same passion that you do, from all ability levels, which is great because we have the record number, over 2,200 total shooters this year. We have over 1,900 in the main event. But the interesting thing from that numbers is in our main event, we have 45% of those are in Master and AA. Well, the remaining 55% are A to E shooters. So that means there's a heck of a lot of shooters in all classes, and so all ability levels. So those first-time attendees could be people that obviously just got started in the game, that got the bug, and wanted to come to San Antonio and see what was going on, see what it is. So there's all ability levels. The event is for everybody. The activities are for everybody, and that's what makes it just more than the competition. It's be a part of something big.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think that you touched on a few things there I agree with. You could basically make this a family vacation. I've never been to San Antonio before. You say you got 700 acres. What's surprising is how many amenities there are in close approximation to this property. I mean, there's plenty of hotels, plenty of places to eat, other things to do. So if you bring the family along with maybe dad and a kid are shooting, or the kids are shooting, mom and dad are tagging along, there's other things for them to see and do here in San Antonio, correct?
Yes, and that's a luxury that we have, is that, within less than 10 minutes away, you can be at tremendous amount of hotels, all national chains, lots of chain restaurants, a lot of San Antonio specialty restaurants and that. So it gives you a little bit of everything. You can go down to the Alamo and see the Alamo. You can watch a river walk. It is a destination vacation place for a lot of people, and for the families and that. And that's why we see so many kids and youth and ladies competing, because they can all pile down, hop in the golf cart, go out and shoot, and then go out into town and have a good time.
Yeah, and that's one of the things my wife's looking forward to next year is the timing just didn't work out this year, but she knows about the Riverwalk because I've had to work a few times in San Antonio, and so next year she's already scheming and planning that we can bring the little one with us, and even though she's not going to follow me around the course, they're going to be shopping and all that kind of stuff down there at the Riverwalk, and then join us here in the evening for all the festivities here, like the Top Gun, the North versus South, and the my gosh, the meals. When we flew in town, and I think that's something that we should bring up. When we flew in town, the first thing we did was went to Walmart and bought a little cooler and a whole bunch of stuff, and we haven't touched any of it. The amount of food that's been available here throughout the day, it's like, why did we worry about packing sandwiches? Again, not knowing any better our first time, that's one of the things that surprised me is how much great food is available here the whole time, the whole day, every day. And then, of course, you guys do the mixer and the light hors d'oeuvres at night. That's been wonderful. So let me ask you this, just fun fact. What's the biggest challenge this year that you've had to deal with in preparation for this event?
I think it is the comfort factor with everybody about what we're doing, getting these other activities back, getting everybody to buy into going back out and living your life back to normal to somewhat as what we can. And that aspect of it, and making sure with, like you said, when you get record numbers of crowds, you've got to make sure, do we have enough targets? Do we have enough personnel? And personnel, is, like any business, is struggling right now to get people to come out there and help out. But I would say the thing that we've had to do with more this year than anywhere else is, like every gun club, is ammunition. Yeah. Available ammunition for this. We were very fortunate that Winchester, Remington, Federal, Aguila, Fiocchi, B&P, they all stood up and made sure that we had enough ammo for all of our shooters that were attending. And that's been a blessing, but it was also a lot of work on all of those sponsors coming in and making sure that happened and getting enough for everybody here. But it's worked out, which we're pleased with, and we can't thank them enough. But as, like I said, also knowing that we knew before the shoot start, we have a lot of new first-time shooters. So we've got to make sure that there's extra signage, making sure that everybody knows what's going on, making sure their packets got a map in there. Those things. Like I said, plenty of text messaging out there telling what's going on, because, as a first timer, you come in and you roll and you see 700 acres.
It's
You
overwhelming.
get overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see that. I mean, we've got over 150, 160 campers. We got dry camping. We also have the vendors. Like I said, the amount of vendors of making sure that they'll all fit in the areas that we need. And as you know, it's the golf course. A golf course has nothing on this, on how many golf carts
No.
and rangers and that. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, people are coming in and with trailers and that. So accommodating all of those type of things is always a challenge. But, I'm very fortunate to have a great staff. We bring in people from all over the country to help put this event on, from LaPorte, Lincoln, Shida, GP, Mattarelli, the machine manufacturers, and those guys do a wonderful job, long range. Neil Chadwick is kind of our event coordinator. He does a wonderful making sure everybody's doing their stuff, getting the course set, setting some targets, and it's target setting with this win that you alluded to earlier. That's we bring in people from around the country, so we don't have one person that sets the nationals. We have a group, and those guys, Joe Skull and Jason Minke and Steve Knoll, Neil Chadwick, Morgan, Pete Mash, those guys that come in here 2 weeks early.
Mm-hmm.
To get all of this ready and to get it out there, because, over these 10, 11 days, we're going to throw about 1.8, 1.9 million targets.
Wow. That's so awesome. You don't have to give me an exact number. Just fun fact again. How many traps do you have on the property right now?
I think it's like 248 traps that we have.
Wow.
And every trap, most of the main event have a full pallet of targets, 63 cases of targets by every machine.
Yeah.
And, you think about how do you get those out there? Well, you're taking a truck with a trailer and a forklift and having to drive. So every time you see a machine that's coming out of the woods throwing a target, you got to think they also had to get a whole pallet of targets back there behind those trees. And that's always interesting. But it takes us 2 solid days to put targets out.
Wow.
Now, it takes them about 10 days to break all the targets down. We've got a crew of about 6 men that come in there, and they spend about that much time getting them all broken down by color, by style, shrink wrapping them, putting a tarp over them, and marking them. And then when all those target setters get in, when they get finished putting those machines down and they lock it down and said, okay, that's an orange dome. That's going to be an all orange. Here's a rabbit target. Here's a midi. That's one's going to be a black one. There's a midi that's an orange one. Getting all of those and getting them out. Like I said, it takes 2 full days of about 6 guys to make that happen. And it's you always pray for Mother Nature not to drop any rain when that happens.
That's for sure. You commented on the staff, and I can tell you, we have not had a trapper that did not know what was going on. We have not ran into anybody from the NSCA here that has not been 100% friendly and courteous and helpful. It's been awesome. No discredit to any club up home or anywhere else we've been, but sometimes they get that new trapper that's not quite sure. You don't have that here. They know what they're doing. They do an excellent job, and it's been wonderful. Our personal shooting has suffered because everything is so overwhelming. It's, there's Anthony Matteries and there's Corey Cruz and of course they want to shake hands with us and talk to us too because they've been on our show and we love talking to them. But then you get overrun by that and your own personal shooting suffers. But it's okay. I'd take it any day. I everything about this trip I wouldn't trade it. Anything that's happened for even the wind, even our port shooting, I wouldn't trade it for the experience we've had. And Michael, it's been close to a year since we've had you on the show, so maybe this winter we'd like to catch up with you again. Talk a little bit more about some NSCA stuff, not just the Nationals. So we hope you'll join us for that. You're a very busy man. We're getting ready to go shoot here in a minute, so we better get going. But thank you very much for spending a few
minutes. Guys, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate what you're doing and getting the word out about Sporting Clays to new shooters and our registered shooters already. And it's guys like you is the reason why, like I said, we've got more first-timers finding out what's going on and enjoying our sport.
Well,
thank you.
Trust me, we'll all be back. Thanks.
Thank you.
It's all about humanity.
It's time to react like never before. For the first time ever, RE Ranger used artificial intelligence to test and optimize 1 billion different lens variations.
It's time to see the sport in a way no one else has with React AI. Available now in frame kits, lens kits, and our most popular lens shapes. For more information, please visit reranger.com. All right, joining us now right in the studio, we've got Dominic Bethel, Kyle Millwood. Thank you guys for stopping in. So give us a story. Wind, and more wind, right?
Lots of wind.
So what day did you guys start shooting?
We got here Wednesday, started shooting Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, that's when we got here too, and boy, it was just howling. 30 to 45 mile an hour is what I've been hearing. And what'd you guys shoot on Wednesday?
Shot Super Sport 2:30, so about the time it got good and windy.
Yeah, I think were we doing the K-Cup at that time, Jason? I think it was.
Yeah, we did the Beretta Challenge first.
Yeah, definitely made things a lot more sporty. We saw boxes blowing around the ground and things getting blown over. It was pretty crazy. So, I mean, in your opinion, when you guys, and I'll ask each of you in turn here, when you're dealing with these kinds of conditions, what kind of steps, what kind of measures, what kind of thought processors are you going through before you get up into your station and, plan your attack?
I mean, I would say I'd hope for the best. You don't want to rush because the target's doing what it's supposed to. And then you don't want to panic when it goes haywire and looks like a Frisbee on the beach.
Gotcha. Dominic, how about you? Anything to add to that?
Just trying to see the target as hard as I can because, there's a lot of targets out here that it's like shooting a natural bird sometimes because they're doing whatever they want to do. And, for me, it's just trying to see the target the best I can because that's what I feel like is the only thing I can do at that point. Heck, yesterday we shot some targets that my show pairs, I was the first one in the box. The show pairs were nothing like one another.
Right.
And, I did what I thought was the best. It was didn't turn out great. And then Kyle steps in the box and, he had two pairs that he killed with one target each. So I was just like, okay, just – luck of the draw a little bit, but
some of these birds to me are like shooting doves on crack. I mean, they're just all over the place. We watched the target come out that was supposed to be a crosser, and that thing changed elevation up and down plus or minus 3 feet all the way throughout the flight path. So with that being said, you guys are much more advanced shooters than Sean and I are, but do you try to take a target sooner while it's still in somewhat of a flat line out of the trap, or do you kind of wait till it settles down a little bit, maybe hovers for a second? I don't know. Is there anything different that you guys do in these conditions?
I would say you try not to do anything different, but with your show pairs or the person in front of you, because that's going to be the most recent targets thrown, just watch what the wind did to theirs and plan for it, not panic. You try to still shoot it in the best spot possible, but give yourself some room that if the wind pushes it up or down, you still got a good window to shoot in.
Right. Well, there was a station on the K-Cup, the big monster tower. They were left to right crossers report pair. You guys remember that?
Definitely.
And I'm picking on our buddy JD. I've mentioned him a couple times now, but he got up in the box, and these targets just came in, and the wind just stalled them out completely where they stopped and just kind of floated out of the sky, and he whacked 7 out of 8 there. I get in the box, and I thought, okay, here we go. And the wind picked back up again, and they look like sonic missiles. It's just like no two targets were the same. So everybody's battling it. I just wondered if you guys had anything for the listeners, if they were running into these kind of conditions, that something you would do different. But it sounds to me like you're letting it play out, right?
Yeah, just want to see what it's doing while it's doing it and have a plan.
Well, I guess the one thing you can take comfort in is we're all dealing with it at the same time, so there's really nothing. We can make all excuses that we want, but in the reality, we're out there, we're shooting the same type of rotation, same type of targets. Maybe the guys that shot earlier in the week maybe had a little bit of a slight edge to things, and today's really not a bad windy day here on Saturday, so it's not as bad as it has been, but maybe some bigger scores will be posted today, maybe.
Yeah, I would hope so. Everything's less affected so far that I've seen today. The wind's kind of a luck of the draw. Kind of like a jumping rabbit. You can't be mad about it. You can't really plan for it. You just kind of got to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, aside from all the targets and stuff, what do you guys think this year? Now, you guys have probably been here multiple times, I'm assuming. How's the crowd? How's the audience? I mean, I know we just got done through the worst part of the COVID thing. You think we've got kind of an increase of, they say this is the largest one they've had, the most attendees, and also the most first-time attendees. Do you think it has a lot to do with COVID, or you just think the sport's growing that much?
I think I've seen a lot more school teams here than normal. The crowd looks big, and a lot of, going in and out of the vendors. They seem to be busy from daylight to dark, and there's usually slow spots during the day, but you can tell that the crowd's here and everybody's still in and out and seeing what there is to see and experience the Super Bowl of shooting.
Well, Dominic, we ran into you out here in the parking lot, and you were carrying an award with you. That's pretty cool. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
Yeah, so I don't get out to shoot as much as I'd like to, but the Meadows was a high volume club for 2020. I think we were 8th, through over 300,000 registered targets, which,
that's awesome.
In a COVID year, I mean, that was something, kind of cool to be able to do. And, part of that was, we hosted Georgia State last year, and, that was the biggest Georgia State until this year, which Forest City broke, which is great because it shows that Sporting Clays is strong and growing. Right. And, we've got great clubs in Georgia. And we can host some monster events, big state events, and it's a lot of fun. And so, that award was just, acknowledging that we were one of the top 10 NSCA clubs last year, and hopefully we'll have another one with a lot higher target count next year.
Well, I asked that question because it was in regards to what Sean asked about the sport growing. Now, you told me you're looking at probably more than double that number of targets for 2021. Do you contribute that? I mean, first of all, I haven't been able to see it myself firsthand, but I've heard so many great things that you've done down there at the Meadows, and I'm anxious to come see it. I'm sure a lot of that contributed to the higher growth and target number, but do you think, from a club owner standpoint, that we're experiencing growth in the sport again?
I do. What's not reflected in that NSCA target count that is on the award is the fact that we're throwing more targets for youth shooters than ever before.
Wow.
The Meadows, any given weekend, Sunday afternoon, there's 100+ kids running around, shooting skeet, trap. Sporting Clays, we've got a local 4-H team that in the winter they shoot modified trap, which I think is only a Georgia thing, but and they used to just use a farm field, and now they've chosen that they want to be a part of a club that can make sure and take care of their equipment, so they don't have to do it. And the youth shooting is what's going to feed it. And I don't even remember who I was talking to about it, and I just said, we haven't truly seen the impact of youth shooting on NSCA yet.
Right. It's still too early.
Kyle and I are just a few years apart, and when we were little, there wasn't SCTP, and the youth shooting was not what it is today.
Right.
And so I think here in a few years is when we'll start to see it. When some of these kids that are, seniors in high school or, my age, and they decide to come back, that's when we're going to see some tremendous growth.
Yeah.
And I think it's exciting, because when you look at, other countries around the world, they don't have as strong of a shooting, presence as we do. And so Sporting Clays is growing.
Well, heck, some of them are still. I was talking to the guys at Zoli, and Paulo Zoli wasn't allowed to come over because of COVID. So some of them are still literally on lockdown, in some way, shape, or form. So, I think it's awesome that we're experiencing some growth. Switching gears for a second, Kyle, how many years have you been coming to the Nationals?
I want to say this is maybe 9th or 10th trip.
Okay, so from a pro shooter perspective and somebody that's looking at 10 years plus, minus, maybe a year, what kind of tip would you give to someone that's looking to come out here for the first time? What's something that they need to plan for or something they need to make sure they do when they come to the Nationals?
For me, I pack for winter, and I pack everything in between winter and summer. It feels like it's 30 in the morning and 80 in the afternoon, and right. Most of the time it actually is.
Yeah.
The wind is new for me. I don't think I've been out here a year that was this windy. But Dominic said I overpack. But that's, to do your best, you want to have everything you can have here. This is the game. This is where everybody's at, all the vendors, everything.
For the record, he did pack a bag that he could spend 2 weeks in Europe with, and he tried to tell me that part of it was for Morgan, his girlfriend. That that some of that was his. And when we picked her up from the airport last night, she had her own bag. So no, Kyle just likes to overpack.
That's cool. Well, listen, guys, I know you guys probably still got some more shooting to do. We've got a 3:30 rotation, so we're going to get ripping. But guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you spending some time with us. Dominic, we'll be catching back up with you. Kyle, I know you just did a show with Justin. Maybe this winter we'd like to sit down with you too for a few minutes. Love to have you on the show.
Yeah, love to.
Thank you both of you very much. Yes, absolutely.
Same to y'all. We appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Rhino Chokes and Shooting Sports introduces the Elite GP30 coating in their Gen 1, Gen 2, and its standard finish on their Elite Series chokes.
Not to mention lengthening and polishing of forcing cones to significantly reduce recoil, barrel porting to control muzzle rise, plus butt pads and recoil suppression systems to keep you fresher longer. Hey, these guys do it all. Corey, what do you think?
Hey guys, this is Corey Cruz, 2019 World Sporting Clays champion. When you're ready to hit clay targets harder, give the guys at Rhino Chokes a call.
Okay, we've caught up with Amy Crow. Amy, welcome.
Thank you.
You help out with the chaos that goes on in registration.
Yes, that's correct.
This has to be a lot of chaos. This is the largest ever NSCA Nationals. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
What is the total number this year? Do you know of entries?
Right now, we're looking at 2,270 competitors.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, here's an interesting fact. You said this is also the first time for this many first-time attendees.
Yeah, we have about over 400 first-time attendees this year.
That's awesome. Give us a little brief rundown of what it goes on over there. I mean, I know it's got to be chaos getting everybody registered and then getting their scores input day to day. Just kind of like a brief overview of what goes on over there.
So at the beginning, we normally start registration a year out for this tournament. We've already processed 120 people for next year so far. It's basically just getting the folks into what they want to do at the time that they want to do it. Some have families, some have friends, and this is their vacation for the year where they all meet up to have a good time and celebrate. And that goes on for about a year with changes, additions, just making sure I get the people in for what they want. Right. And then when we come down here, I have an amazing group of people that are all support staff as far as checking in everybody, making sure they know where they're going, especially the first-time attendees, because they've never been here before. Right. And, it can be kind of overwhelming for them coming to, this large piece of property where everything is spread out. And then, it's all processing the scorecards, making sure we have everything correct for the course managers, making sure we don't overbook any of the times so the folks can get to their next event. Some people like to do it as a marathon, back to back on all their events, and some like it spread out and enjoy the entire week.
What are some of the more have you had any like unique or weird requests when you're squatting with people or getting things put together, or anything unique that you might want to touch on?
Well, I would probably say the biggest thing is people do not like to shoot at 8 a.m.
Yeah, we none of us like that rotation, but it has to happen.
It does have to happen, especially for the main event. But as far as all the side events go, 8 o'clock is the least popular time. But the funny thing is when we're here and people are shooting and having a great time is the amount of people that come back and sign up for other events. And then that 8 o'clock time doesn't seem to matter anymore when they're here having, such a great time.
Gotcha. And in regards to having so many new first time shooters here at the event, in your opinion, what do you think puts people off about a big event like this as a new shooter? Is it just the size of it? Is it in their minds they're thinking that they're not good enough or worthy enough to come to an event like this? I mean, what would you say to a person that's on the fence to come next year as a new shooter?
Well, I think I would just tell them, it's fun. You're here to have, a good time. It's fun. Don't put the pressure on yourself to think that you have to be the national champion. Just because it is the national championships, a lot of people do put pressure on themselves to perform. And, we all do that. We all want to be great and have a good score. But the reality of it is it's just another Sporting Clays event. And there's just thousands of people here.
Right.
So, if you're a first-time attendee and you're on the fence about it, I would definitely consider maybe coming and trying it out, maybe making it your vacation that year, or getting a group of friends together, rent a house, and enjoy it so that you know what it's like and may want to do it again.
Yeah, and in addition to the shooting, which is the main part of the things, you have tons of vendors.
Oh, yes.
Good food. We've already eaten our weight in gold, haven't we, Jason? Been great meals for lunch and dinner, and then there's all kinds of people to meet and greet and see. So, hopefully that'll bring more people out even next year, and then we'll keep this thing growing.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Amy, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for sharing your information with us, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Amy. Hey, shooters, when you're traveling, protect your gun in the finest case available. Negrini is a sponsor of the Dead Pair podcast, and right now, use the promo code DEADPAIR, that's DEADPAIR, all one word, for a 10% discount off your order. Plus, if your order totals more than $300, they're going to throw in free shipping. Remember, Negrini, we case your memories.
All right, we were able to catch up with Mr. Cameron Hicks. What's up, Cameron?
How you doing?
Doing good. What do you think about these windy conditions down here?
They're tough, for sure. They're eating my lunch.
That's for sure.
Yep.
What all have you shot so far?
Shot super, 5 stand, half the main, and half feet test so far.
Okay. Well, how bad has this wind affected you?
Yeah. I watched feet test on Tuesday, and it was, I was like, man, this is pretty straightforward. And then, wind changes everything. Doesn't seem like there's a single target that it helps out here, but that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah. Sean and I shot Beretta Cup and K Cup on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like in the middle of a hurricane shooting,
Yeah, it makes it interesting for sure.
So let me ask you something then from a shooter's perspective. When, so myself, I'm real big on line setup, on my whole points. And I was telling everybody, I'd set up on line and then, just below the line and call pull, and then the target comes out 3 feet under your barrel. So what do you guys do to compensate for stuff like that? Is it a lot of low gun stuff to try and to acquire the target better, or what do you do?
Yeah, the wrong end of it that I myself definitely did a lot of, and you see a lot of shooters do, is just kind of a protection measure. Catch yourself inserting too big, shooting way out in front of everything, just trying to gap everything. Right. At that point, that's definitely what got me. It's definitely what got a lot of shooters in front of me. Really, I'd focus more on mounting to the bird, to the front edge of the bird, or just a little bit off the bird, depending on what it is, and then just kind of hold it a little bit tighter and make more of a move. That's just kind of how I shoot in the wind. It didn't work out for me here, but I know how to do it. Just didn't do it. So, there's really not much you can do. Just a little bit more aggression normally in the wind, then just hold on for dear life, because you're kind of at the mercy of it at that point.
Yeah, Cameron, we actually experienced on our own squad. For instance, Jason would go up, shoot his set. I'd get up, totally different. It's just really hard to plan.
Yep.
So you get up there with the best of intentions. You just try to make a go at it and do what you can, but oftentimes you leave frustrated and you don't know how it's fair, but at the same time you got to remind yourself that everybody's dealing with it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure the scores are going to vary too. Maybe the guys that shot a little earlier on before the big wind picked up on Wednesday may have had a slight advantage. What's your thoughts on that?
There were some huge scores put up in the wind. Fanese.
Yes.
73. That's
and then
insane.
there's those people that are able to do that. I'm not sure.
That's ridiculous. That's extremely impressive. I just, like I said, definitely me myself. I was definitely at the mercy of it, and I did not get any good breaks on that. But you learn, and you're here, and it's part of it.
We saw a lot of people actually walking back and forth between the stations they were actually shooting to watch other people and getting different angles on things.
Yeah.
Is that something that you do as well, or?
No, I might try to make it to the next station a little bit faster, and because I'm in Corey and Anthony and Greg, and I'm in their B squad, so that's a pretty cool group to follow and learn and watch how they do things, and they're all different. All Travis Mears, they're all 4 of them shoot different, so that's nice to get different takes on different birds.
That's definitely a tough act to follow too.
It is, yeah, it is. Anthony, let's see, I shot yellow yesterday, and Corey, I think, was the only one in the tournament to run that tower station.
Really?
It was station 10.
Yeah.
So to watch him get up there, run it, I get up there, I'm like, oh, cool. I got it down now. I watched him, I was behind him. I think I hit 2. So I was on a pretty good score until then. But, it's just a big learning experience.
Yeah, and for everybody listening, to set the picture here for you. So that was the golden ticket station.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you had one single, 2-shot single.
Yep.
And then you had 3 report pairs off of, I'm going to say that tower was every bit of 40 foot in the air.
Yeah.
You had a midi that was quartering out away, and then a real good full-size crosser.
Yep.
And they were both getting it.
Yep.
I mean, full spring.
Very edgy.
And I watched the squad in front of us that was all comprised of master and AA guys, and the best any of them did was, I think, a 4 out of 7.
Yeah.
And I got lucky. I stepped up there, and I think I busted 5 out of 7.
That's awesome.
Because the wind had settled down.
Yeah.
And I was able to connect and, really sync up with the target. But I think our buddy JD shot right behind me, and the wind picked up again, and I think he walked out of there with a 2.
Yep.
I mean, it took that quartering target. You're talking a midi to start with that's quartering out away from you. It took that target, and it shoved it down to the ground as fast as you can imagine and away.
Yeah.
So that's what I find interesting is when we come around the course and we're watching guys like you shoot, how you guys compensate for that. I mean, obviously it's experience. You can't really train for the wind unless you live in Kansas or something,
Yeah.
But do you, when you're watching the guys like Anthony and Corey, are you very attentive, not just where they're breaking the target, but on their setup of how they plan for stuff like this?
If I'm watching them, I'm looking at what move they put on it. Corey starts a little bit bigger with a smaller move. He's a little bit more match the speed of the bird. Anthony starts a little bit closer to the bird. Greg is insanely fast from a FITAS mount. So, I'm just kind of watching the move that they're putting on the bird and then just trying to pick the best one.
Okay.
You got to know them all. I mean, they all know them all. It's just what they decide to do on that presentation. And like I said, I didn't do any of it right. I haven't done any of it right so far. Yesterday I was shooting pretty well, but.
So let me pick a station. I'm gonna pull a quick tip out of you if I can. Right across the street from that tower was station 1, and if you remember correctly, you had the throwers probably 30 yards off to your right. It was a right to left crosser.
Yep.
A little bit of belly showing, and then the report was a left to right chandelle, both of them full size targets. That's a pretty easy station to make your plan on. We watched Anthony shoot it, and he broke the front edge off the target, and he compensated, and he was centering the target every time after that. So, with that station in mind, Cameron steps up in the box. How do you make your plan? How are you going to attack that? Is that a follow through, a swing through, a sustained, a maintain, or whatever you want to call it?
Yes.
What plan do you use? How do you approach that station?
Without going, I remember that station I shot. That was one of the few stations I shot really well. The second bird was affected by the wind a lot.
Yes.
It was never the same after it got to the top. So I shot that on the way up. The first bird, that's just a simple crosser, and I'm not copywriting this at all. I learned it from Corey, but basically if you think of a high house from pad 4 on a skeet field as a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving that bird a number as to what the lateral speed was. So that one was about a 5, 4 to 5, probably 4. And I'm just making sure I'm matching the speed of that bird. So the first one hopped around a little bit, but it wasn't that bad, and it really didn't take a lot of lead if you match the speed of it.
Right.
The second one, I shot on the way up. I watched Anthony shoot that one. He shot it a little closer to the top. Corey shot it on the way up. But I've been struggling with hanging targets, and I don't want to shoot at them. So
Right.
that's why I chose to shoot it that way. But that was a good station. The wind made that one pretty bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Cameron, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. Obviously, we're going to catch up here this winter and get a full episode with you, but we appreciate you taking the time. I know you're in between rotations, so I won't keep you too much longer. And looks like old girl down here needs something to eat too. So she's antsy. But thank you again for catching up with us, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, for this Barepelt segment, we're here with Lindsey and Kyle Chandler. Guys, welcome.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, this is kind of cool, right? Impromptu at the Nationals.
Very cool.
First of all, before we get into Barepelt, tell us a little bit about y'all's shooting. Lindsey, tell us where y'all are from, first of all.
So Lindsey and Kyle Chandler, we are from Benton, Louisiana, which is by Shreveport, Louisiana. And we just started shooting. Kyle's been shooting about a year, and then I just started shooting a couple of months ago.
Gotcha. So are you D class?
I'm D class.
D class. And Kyle?
I just jumped into A class. For
Nationals. Welcome to the dark side.
Yes, sir.
What got you guys as a couple into shooting?
Well, my dad is Reggie Quillen, and he's been in the sport for about 30 years now. And so I've been following him my whole life, and I just never really, I guess, got into it. And then Kyle started shooting. He was a big golfer before, and he got into shooting. And then, of course, I got tired of pulling and keeping score for them. So I said, well, I got to get me a gun and start shooting too.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, you don't let her beat you too bad, do you?
Well, I'll tell you what, on the make a break, she was really close. I was getting nervous. So she's been shooting very well.
Awesome. Well, Sean, you had a few questions about the vest, right?
Yeah, if I could, a lot of our listeners are interested about the Barepelt vest. You guys are both sporting yours, have your names on the jacket, so I really like that.
And they're matching.
Yeah, they're matching. That's great. So how did you guys first hear about Barepelt vests?
Well, we just started seeing more and more of them, and I feel like they're the coolest looking vests.
They are.
Gotcha. How about comfortability? You guys enjoying them?
Oh, they're awesome. And Kyle, I had one ordered before Kyle did, and he just picked up his when we got here at Nationals, and he forgot he had his own. They're so comfortable.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Kyle, you said you jumped in the truck and were headed out of here, and you look down, you're like, oh, yeah, I still got my vest on.
Yes, yeah. It was amazing because I put it on, and I knew right away whenever it was on, I was like, oh, this is awesome vest.
Yeah.
And I had some shells in it and went and shot the first main event in it, and then took my shells out and was loading my gun up and got in the truck, and I was like, wait a minute. Something feels different, and I definitely had the vest on. So
now you all both have the game day vest on. Do you guys have the practice vest as well, or is this all you have right now?
I think we both have. My first vest too is competition. I think we don't have the practice. We just have the competition.
Well, I'm sure being Louisiana, you guys will be ordering some in the spring because it gets pretty hot down there.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna definitely have us a couple that are in different colors. So.
There you go.
Well, you'd be like each day.
Yeah, you could be like David Radulovich and have one for every hour of the day.
Yeah, that's our
times
goal.
5 days
that's
a week.
Our goal.
Absolutely.
That was did you guys see that last night on the Top Gun shoot off?
Oh,
He kept changing vests. I'm like, you're like a woman with shoes. But,
oh yeah.
I loved it.
So,
I'd like to ask, what are some of the favorite features of the vest, or what are some of the things that stick out to you that you enjoy about the vest the most?
For me, our family's real, and Kyle and I are huge on especially products that are made in the USA, and it's the vest speaks for itself. So, we love the vest, that there's no doubt about that, but it's the people to us that represent the vest. It's Eric and Heather and all the shooters that represent the vest. It's the Barepelt Pro Team and all those shooters. I mean, you don't get better people behind that vest. And
absolutely.
So to me, it's the people that represent the product.
And Kyle, since you've been shooting a little bit longer, I'm assuming you had a different vest before this. So how has this vest, I guess, changed or affected your shooting at this point?
Well, don't look at my scores from Nationals.
Sure.
I've been off.
Yeah, we're all going to say that.
Yeah. But I will tell you this. With this vest, it is I can move around very freely with it, especially I noticed a different feed task. It mounts really good. Like I said, I got it here at Nationals, so it's just been a very good. And with this wind, even so, it was very breathable, but it also blocked the wind as well.
Good.
Helped keeping my core pretty warm.
Any other final closing thoughts, Jason?
I think anybody that's hesitant just needs to get to barepelt.com and quit fooling around and get one.
That's right.
Don't buy one, buy two.
There you go. There you go. Well,
price point's great.
If you look at the price point, you can get two for the price of another vest.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and Lindsey, at Barepelt.
It's not just your vest, it's your uniform.
Love it. Guys, thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all so much.
Well, that was an awful lot of people that we got with, but obviously we could have done more.
Yeah, we could have sat there all day if we wanted to.
Yeah, everybody was shooting, though, and busy, and we're lucky to get the ones that we did. So
yeah,
hopefully there was a little bit of something there for everybody. I thought it was really interesting to listen to Michael talk about the shoot and what goes into it, and obviously, what to do if you've never been there before, and hopefully that'll give some people some drive to come visit. If they haven't been already, then they can come and come next year and experience it for themselves.
And how cool were the Chandlers, right?
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Barepelt segment.
Definitely. That was very cool. She's just a ball of energy and really fun to talk to. And I'm glad that they're doing it together as a couple, and looks like they're having fun.
Yeah, and those matching vests are awesome.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are.
So, well, hey, everyone. Thank you very much. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate our sponsors, Negrini, Game Boar, Atlas Traps, RE Ranger, Barepelt, and Rhino Chokes. Thank you for being on board with us. Thank you for bringing everyone these interviews at the Nationals. That's a wrap on the 2021 NSCA National Championship.
Yep, and we will see you here next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.